God. The presence of God is here. I close my eyes and draw near. I go to the presence of God.
I go to the presence of God. The presence of God is here. I close my eyes and draw near. I go to the presence of God. God is always where I am. The presence of God is here. Oh, I close my eyes and draw near. I go to the presence of God. Sing it with me. I go to the presence of God. God is here. The presence of God is here. Close my eyes. Close my eyes and draw near. I go to the presence of God. I don't have to search for God. God is always where I am. Wherever I stand, the presence of God. The presence of God is here. I close my eyes. And I go within. I go to the presence of God. I go where there's peace, love, and understanding. Yeah, where there's safety and security and serenity. Yeah, I go where there's limitless possibilities within me. Yeah. Oh, I go to the treasure house. I go to the treasure house. I go, 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 go. I go within me. I go to the presence of God. I go to the presence of God, of God. I go to the presence of God. I
Good morning, beautiful people.
Hey, hey, hey.
Happy Sunday. It is so good to be here with each and every one of you yet again for our powerful weekend service, our powerful weekend gathering of like minds and beautiful souls. Let us get started as we always do with prayer.
Yes,
and this morning,
yes.
our prayer champion, Reverend Akila, will lead us in prayer.
Happy Sunday, Celebration Spiritual Center. Let's take a moment and close our eyes, breathing in here and breathing out now. I rest in breath, knowing that there is one power, one God, one source, animating our lives. We are together at this time in this way to stream in the consciousness of Celebration Spiritual Center. I am knowing that God surrounds the space that you're in. God surrounds the service. I am knowing that God is omnipotent, omnipresent, all-knowing, because God is all. And I am knowing that the creation of this moment is perfect, it's whole, it's complete. I am knowing that I am one with this creation. I am knowing that I am one with that which created you. I know that I am one with that which created Celebration Spiritual Center. And I'm knowing that what is to be is upstream. I am knowing that we are up in health. I am knowing that we are up to a changed mind. I am knowing that we are up to a healed heart. I am knowing that we are up to open the door to prosperity, to open the door to inspiration, to open the door to who it is that we choose to express as divine, the divine inherent within us. I am knowing that who you are is accepted here. I am knowing that who you are is loved right here. And I'm so thankful to be available, to be open, to speak this word and this blessing over each and every life in attendance. I am knowing right here and right now that Pastor Greg's sermon and Pastor Alana's meditation is exactly what keeps the light on in our minds, which keeps the light on in our hearts. Let the light shine. Let the light shine on you. Let it shine on this service. I'm so thankful to know that we are connected by this truth, knowing that we are worthy, whole, and complete, knowing that we turn away from the darkness to be here right now, fully understood, fully known, fully present to the light of God within us. It radiates now. It radiates even bigger than before. I am so thankful that we walk through the door of this screen. I am so thankful that we walk through the door of our hearts. And I'm so thankful that right now is where it's at. And right now, this prayer is released into the space, taking hold, and let us rejoice in the expectation that what comes next is for our best. Let it be known, let it shine on with an amen, ashe, and so it is. Thank you.
Amen. Ashe.
And so it is.
Well, again, it is wonderful and good to be here with each and every one of you. We see you in the comments and your happy Sundays. We always feel them. We feel the emojis. We feel the hearts. We feel it all. And we're grateful to be here with each and every one of you. Now, I know there are some folks that may be here for the very first time. You may be a first-time guest, and we're so happy to have you. And we want to stay in touch with you if you would like to stay in touch with us. So if you would like to complete our digital connection card, all you have to do is text the word welcome to this number that you see here on your screen, 347-472-1078. Just the word welcome. No signatures, no emojis, nothing extra. And you will receive a response with the link to the digital connection card. And then you can give us your information. We'll add you to the mailing list. We send out a weekly email on Fridays and occasionally other emails as necessary. But more importantly, this will enable you to stay connected to us and find other helpful links that might be needed and necessary. So with that, we have some announcements and some things to talk about. So let's get into that. And then we'll move forward into meditation. So first things first, it's the third Sunday, which means it's God Talk Sunday. The God Talk is an opportunity for you to ask us questions, to get your questions answered. We recognize that metaphysical principles, new thought principles, bring up lots of questions. And you may hear the sermons or previous sermons or just want to know, for instance, we get questions, well, how do I pray about this particular thing that's happening in my life? And so we can support you in that. We also recognize that as we are in the midst of the pandemic and there's so much going on, and even post-election things going on, that you may have questions, you may have concerns, and we're here to support you.
Absolutely. And we always say it, I always say it, that this is just information if you can't apply it to your life. And so we're here to help you apply it to your life. No question is off limits.
Absolutely. And so in order to join us in the God Talk, that happens via Zoom. So it won't happen here on Facebook or YouTube. You need to be on our mailing list. And so again, for our first time guests, if you're hearing about this and you're like, oh, wow, no question is off limits, I would love to be a part of this. All you need to do is join our mailing list by texting, again, this number, text the word welcome to this number. Once you've given us your information, then you will receive an email automatically with the information. Everyone else, you're on the mailing list. Just go to Friday's email and you'll see the details.
Yep,
there.
it's the exact same information as last month. Nothing has changed, but you have to be in the room to ask your question. You can't email your question to us.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I want to share with you all. Today is an interesting day. I feel like it's old school church because we have morning service, we have afternoon service with the God Talk, and I'm honored that I will be the special guest speaker today at Up Church LA. Up Church, Understanding Principles for Better Living, is the church that was founded by the late great Della Reese, a powerful woman of God, of course, a powerful entertainer and performer, but also a powerful metaphysician. And so I'm grateful to be able to join in their 1 month celebration, Worshiping in Color. We're going to be dealing with wisdom and looking at God as wisdom. And so if you would like to join us, because it's on the West Coast, that will happen at 1 p.m. Pacific time. So for the East Coast, that's going to be 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can join. You'll see the link there right on YouTube. Just type in Up Church LA, all one word, and you can join us. It's going to be awesome. If you aren't able to catch it today, the video will be available for you to stream at a later time. As we shared with you all last week, I forgot to have the citation I wanted to show you all.
It's beautiful.
But we are Brooklyn COVID heroes. We are excited. And again, this is an honor for Celebration Spiritual Center. This is not a Pastor Greg honor or Pastor Yolanda honor. It is a testament and a testimony to the consciousness of what we've created and really living out our mission, vision, and purpose. This picture is kind of small, but the top row on the left is me in this picture holding the citation.
You should put a circle around it.
Yeah,
Here I
but
am.
again, we are thankful and grateful for each and every one of you, and thank you to everyone who nominated us and put us on the radar of the Brooklyn Borough President to be recognized in this way. It was a really awesome day, beautiful day on Tuesday, and to be with so many powerful citizens of Brooklyn doing so many amazing things. And we recognize that when we come together, which is so much about, I think, even when I'm thinking about the sermon series, we come together, each asking the question, what is mine to do? Then collectively, our city benefits in powerful ways.
And we will keep on informing you as this pandemic unfolds, of information and things you need to know, and be there in that knowingness that we are moving towards solutions.
Yes. So the next announcement and reminder is that we will not be holding service Thanksgiving weekend. This is, of course, a normal thing for CSC. So just know that you can sleep in on Sunday or do whatever you want to do. There may be some things streaming, but there won't be an official service or gathering as we're doing today. Now, with that noted, with Thanksgiving weekend, and there's so much happening in our country in terms of COVID cases arising, and we want to heed and listen to the guidance of the CDC and hear this graphic from the New York Health Department, just reminding us that as we are moving into this holiday season, that there are some things that we must know and understand. One, just know our own risk. Get tested if you are going to be with groups of people, even a small group of people for Thanksgiving. Get tested before and after. Keep it small, whatever that gathering is. Get together outdoors if at all possible, or virtually, which is what we're going to be doing with our family. Avoid close contact. You still want to stay 6 feet apart, and don't share food or drinks. And one of the things that I wanted to share with you all, two bits of information. One, some information that has come out this week is that a lot of the urgent care facilities like City MD are having long lines for testing because as more people are getting sick and more people are even starting to get concerned, more folks are going out and getting tested, which is great. But what's happening is City MD has 2-3 hour waits, and their staff is overwhelmed. They're actually shifting their times now. They're going to be closing early because City MD was never designed to handle this level of testing during a pandemic. But while City MD is being overrun, the testing sites that have been set up by the city, New York City and New York State, actually have 0 wait times. So if you're going to get tested, I know many of us, the first thing we think is like, oh, let me go to urgent care, let me go to City MD. Actually, what you want to do if you're trying to get tested is go to this website. Make sure you can see it. nyc.gov/health/coronavirus. And you will find out, you can pop in your zip code and find the closest testing site. We also have rapid testing available here in New York City. So that's important to understand that the resources are here and the resources are available. I see the comment, right? No lines, 10 minutes. And so this is incredibly important to understand, because we went to get tested. That was months ago. I think in August. We didn't have a long wait, but we did have, actually, I had a longer wait than she did. That's a whole nother story. But there was a wait, right? But the city testing sites, there's no wait right now, and it's a beautiful thing. I know that every city and every state doesn't have the level of testing that's here in New York, so please make sure that you take advantage of it, and make sure that you're utilizing these resources. Again, rapid testing is available now in New York City, and there are testing sites all over in the 5 boroughs, right? So that's very important. The other piece of information which is important to know is that the city has also provided something very useful for us. For instance, in the case of the two of us, if either one of us got sick, we wouldn't be able to isolate from each other, right? And so what do? Well, the city has actually provided free of charge hotel, 3 free meals, and a place that you can stay so that you can isolate and not infect your loved ones, right? So if you're in a living situation where if you're sick or if you got sick and you couldn't isolate from your loved ones, the city, there are provisions for that. And we're communicating this because based on some things that our council members are sharing, everybody's not aware of that. And so we want you to know that these things are available. Even if you don't necessarily need it, even if we don't personally need it, we know that sharing that information is going to be helpful and beneficial to someone, right? So lots of information. All it boils down to is be safe, be mindful, and utilize the resources that are here and available to us.
Absolutely.
Prayer. Do you have a prayer request? If you have a prayer request, we want to pray and know the truth with you. And it's very simple. All you have to do is send an email to prayerchampions@celebratonsc.org. We receive that email. Our prayer champions receive that email. And all of us hold that consciousness and pray. Know that it's not, going out into some void. We all see them. We all read them. And we all hold the highest knowing with and for each and every one of you. Additionally, because we believe in the power of prayer, we hold a prayer call every Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. We have the Momentum Prayer Call. Join in, call in a little before 7. I share that day's reading from the Daily Word, and then our prayer champion leads us in prayer. That prayer is recorded. So you can use the playback number here on your screen at any time, 24/7, to access the vibration of prayer, the most recent prayer.
24/7, 7 days a week, anytime, day or night. So whenever you need to be reminded of the truth, please make yourself available, make that information, put it in your phone, Momentum Prayer Call, all that good stuff. So you'll have it at easy access.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so with that, we all get to take a collective breath, and PY will lead us in meditation.
We get to breathe together. We get to honor not only the breath, but our knowingness that we are connected to something more powerful and beyond our understanding. How deep this connection goes, how profound the knowingness of this connection is, how important to remember it in times when it feels like we don't have access to answers. I am one with all that is, all the answers, all the joy, all the abundance. I'm one with all that is. I'm never separate. It is in that belief that we are separate where the fear rolls in, because we begin to think and take our situations under our control instead of being under the control of God, under the control of the knowing, under control of the bird's eye view. I am one with all that is. That is our mantra, our theme, our affirmation for meditation this month. And it's important. So go ahead and find a comfortable seat. Look around, settle yourself in, whether you are upright in a chair, on your sofa, upright in a bed, wherever you find yourself. Notice that you are home and safe. And from that place of safety, settle in. Maybe the hips relax a little more, maybe the shoulders relax a little more. Just knowing I'm home, I'm safe, and I'm connected to all that is. Now, close your eyes. And allow that simple movement to trigger something in the mind that says, it's okay to relax. As we close our eyes, we release ourselves from the external and make our way to the internal. That place within us where we are never separate. That place within us where love resides. That place within us where peace is always available. And with our eyes closed, just notice the breath. Whether it appears to be deep or shallow, notice the breath. And acknowledge as the breath is flowing that I'm never separate from the breath, nor am I separate from the one mind, power, and presence. No active movement of the breath on your part. It's flowing on behalf of you, in favor of all that you are. Just notice for a few rounds of breath. And now, let's take a little bit more conscious control of how the breath moves. Let's bring our mind and our awareness together with the breath, with the energy that flows on the breath, and send that focus into the low belly. Together, breathe into the low belly. Inhale. Hold it there. And open the mouth, release the breath, nice and easy, count to 4. Again, inhale into the low belly. Inhale for 4. Hold it there. And open the mouth, release for a nice, easy, count to 4. Now, inhale, up through the low belly, up through the rib cage, count to 4. Expanding the front and the sides and the back, hold it there, count to 4. Open the mouth, relax the jaw, and release. Beautiful. Inhale again, in and up through the rib cage, count to 4. Hold it there. Relax the jaw, open the mouth, and release. Notice how the shoulders relax as the breath is released. Now let's move that breath in and up through the heart. Center of the chest, count to 4. Hold it there. And release. Shoulders relax down. Count to 4. One more time. Inhale in and up through the heart. Hold it there. And this time, close the lips. Exhale through the nose. Count to 4. Beautiful. Let's take a few rounds of deep, elongated breath in and up on your own. Few rounds here. As I breathe in and out, I notice I am one with all that is, all that keeps the planets spinning in their orbit, all that created the galaxies, all that is beyond what I can see and perceive with my eyes. I am one with all that is. Last round. Notice a sensation that you're more relaxed than you were before. And let's send that energy into the feet. Maybe wiggle the toes. Maybe raise the heels, depending on where you're seated. Relax the feet now. Energy that grounds and connects to all that is. Send it across the ankles. Relax the ankles. Now sending that energy up the shins and the calves. Relax the shins and the calves. Energy flows across the knees, surrendering, bending, aligning. Relax the knees. Unobstructed, the energy flows across the thighs, towards the hips. Relax the thighs, the glutes, the hamstrings, and allowing energy to open our seat of joy. Relax the hips. Beautiful. Energy gathered at the base of our spine. We signal it, we imagine it, opening, activating each chakra on its ascension, traveling up, 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 out the crown of our head. This open channel sends energy up and out, gathered above us all, connecting us to all that is. We are connected to the power. We are connected to the peace. We are connected to the answers. And from that place of connection and openness and willingness, we allow that energy to flow back down through the crown, across the third eye, opening our throat and place of truth. We speak it, we live from the truth. I am one with all that is. That energy flows across our shoulders and down our arms, out our fingertips. And maybe you turn the palms up to receive more. Or maybe you turn the palms down to ground more. Whatever you choose, remember that you are connected to all that is. Relax the shoulders and feel the connection. As we prepare for our silent time, scan the body. Notice if there's anywhere that you're holding tension still. Release the tension. Open the heart, aligned with the knowing that you are one with all that is. As we go into our silent time, you take the journey. I will monitor the time, and when you hear my voice again, we will begin our return. But for now, Remember, relax, and allow the one mind to be your mind now. With our eyes still closed, we notice any sensation of peace and ease that we have given ourselves. With our eyes closed, we notice how it feels to be connected to the one mind, always in a perpetual state of grace and ease and, yes, peace. With our eyes still closed, we allow this sensation of peace and ease and connection to be embedded, embodied, and filling us completely. With our eyes still closed, we sit in gratitude for the time that we've given ourselves, knowing that we can come back to it whenever we need to be reminded by closing our eyes, affirming the truth that I am one with all that is. Let's begin our return now by elongating the breath, by maybe wiggling the fingers and the toes. If the palms are still turned up, turn them down. And maybe rubbing the palms across the thighs, the knees, the shins, making contact, awakening the lower half of our body. Pausing here, drawing the shoulders up by the ears. Inhale. And shoulders back, release the breath, and easy release of the shoulders down. 2 more rounds of this. Eyes closed, inhale. Up and back and down. One more time. Inhale. Up and back and down. Beautiful. Bring palms together at heart center. Lightly touching the thumbs into the sternum. Bowing the chin towards the fingertips, noticing the opening at the base of the neck, the elongation of the spine, opening. Feeling the heartbeat, being mindful of the connection. And nice and easy, slowly flutter the eyes open, taking in a point on the floor or in front of you. Nice soft gaze. Inhale, raise the chin. Raise the gaze. Release the breath. Namaste.
Namaste. Thank you, PY.
You're welcome.
Awesome. It came to mind. I just want to make sure I say this when we were talking about testing. Testing is free, COVID testing. I think that's important to note because I think sometimes folks are not going to get tested because they think they have to pay or you don't have insurance. Testing is free. So before we get into the sermon, we are going to hear from Soul 21. I am so grateful and thankful that we have all of this music available.
All this content. This is awesome.
Yeah, and as I said last week, this is about Soul 21's dedication over all of these years, all of the rehearsals, all of the time that we put in outside of Sunday. And so all of us are getting to reap the benefits of that service. So again, we love you, we appreciate you, and we thank you because you are still serving and you are still giving, even in the midst of this pandemic. So let's hear from Soul 21.
So this song is a celebration of that truth. I invite you to feel it, and I invite you to celebrate with it. This place that we live, we move, and we have our being. It's where we're thriving, it's where we're growing, it's where we're prospering. So 21, can you tell me where you're living? Yeah. Where are you moving? Where are you breathing? Oh, God. Where are you prospering? Where are you growing? Where are you thriving? Where are you growing and thriving? Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, God. There is no separation here. There is no separation from the heart of God. That's where you live. Freedom and peace are yours. There's only love here. There is only love, only love, only love. Only love in the heart of God. Oh.
Yes, yes, yes. In the heart of God. Oh, that feels powerful. That feels good. Thank you, Soul 21. Wow, that's a good one. Digging in the crates. That felt really good and powerful. And seeing your comments, I see that it was met and received by each and every one of you, which is powerful. So we are in our series this month, What is Mine to Do? And I've been enjoying this series. I think the beginning, the first 2 weeks were interesting because there was the pre-election sermon and the post-election sermon. In week 1, we started with the construction crew, with this underlying idea that we have the opportunity to really make a choice on that day, regardless of what the outcome of the election may have been, that we were going to be on the construction crew. And even now, as we know we know the results of the election, it's very important that we are part of that group of people that continues to organize, continues to work towards the common goal of true peace, freedom, justice, and ease for our fellow citizens. And so we made that choice. We're on the construction crew, and so we get to be about that work. In week 2, last week, keep the light on. I admonished everyone to look at what it means to keep the light on, that there are some things that we learned as a result of the election about our fellow citizens here in the United States, and we need to keep the light on that the racism and the division that exists, we need to understand that it exists and understand why. We keep the light on that. But there's so many other things that we must keep the light on within ourselves, and one of the most powerful things for me was looking at the example of Stacey Abrams. understanding that the plan of the new South and the new Georgia is something that didn't happen overnight, right? That the day you plant the seed is not the day that you enjoy the fruit. And so while we are experiencing and excited about the fruit of Georgia turning blue, we recognize that keeping the light on is moving through no matter what, moving through even when you run for governor and there's voter suppression and all kind of foolishness, but you don't get sucked in by the foolishness and resentment, but you actually use that as fuel to do something even more powerful. So if you haven't heard that message, I encourage you to check that out. But we are moving on. And so as we move on, I was thinking about a relationship expert that Pastor Yolanda and I love. You've heard us refer to her work many times, particularly in our classes and if you work with us one-on-one in coaching, and it's Allison Armstrong. Love her work, love her perspective. And one of the things that I love about what she does is the way she provides couples with new ways of seeing things that happen all the time, new ways of observing things that happen all the time. And she does that by using questions. One of the questions she offers in understanding partnership and choosing partnership, one of the questions that we must ask ourselves as couples is, what if no one is doing anything wrong? Right? I love that question. It's very beneficial. It's been very helpful in our own relationship, but it's helpful in every relationship. There's another question recently that she posted actually this week on social media that I thought was interesting because it points to the way she uses questions. And she writes, the most powerful thing a couple can do to address is to address misunderstandings with openness and curiosity. Rather than assuming we know why our partner did or said something, we should ask ourselves, what if there's a good reason for that, right? And again, what she does so often in her work with couples is giving us questions that help us then reframe and really take us out of our assumptions, right? Take us out of, I know why he said that. I know why she said that. I know why they said that. And so we recognize, even as you hear that question right now, you may have hear that for the first time, and that's already like, okay, I need to call my boo when this sermon is over, because what if there's a good reason for that, right? And so we recognize that a simple question, although it's just a simple question, it can change, radically shift and change so many things in our lives. What's even more important, we understand the right question is a game changer. We absolutely know this within New Thought, right? We use questions all the time. We use questions to facilitate breakthroughs, transformation, and healing. Here at CSC, we teach and we talk about the work that comes through Byron Katie, right? Where we're learning to question our thoughts. We use the 4 questions of the work, starting with, is it true? Yes or no? Can you absolutely know that it is true? Asking those questions automatically puts you in a different posture, automatically puts you in a place of seeing the situation differently. One of the other tools I love from Byron Katie, sometimes we have these thoughts that are just emphatic and seemingly factual, right? She doesn't like me, right? Period. But what Byron Katie offers us, what if you put a question mark? She doesn't like me? And just changing that seemingly factual statement to a question then opens up more questions, and it opens up a way of seeing. It supports us in looking underneath that thought, because we recognize that the thought didn't come out of nowhere. This is why I love the lesson in A Course in Miracles, right? I am never upset for the reason I think. And so, do I get upset? Do I get angry? Do I get pissed off? Of course. But I have the opportunity to come to myself, and that lesson comes back to me. I am never upset for the reason I think. Okay, why am I really upset? I may be upset with a person because of something they did, but if I go back, I may realize, oh, well, you know what? I actually made an agreement that I should not have made. If I think back, I was already making an agreement with something or with someone that wasn't in my best interest from the beginning. And so now this is playing out with this person not keeping their word, et cetera, but what I'm really upset about, I'm upset with myself for not honoring myself in the beginning when I had an opportunity to. But it's by being open in that way to ask those questions, that then we have the opportunity for the shift and change, And so this is where Wayne Dyer, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And this is what asking questions allows us to do. I'm sure that each and every one of you can testify to some way in which you've used questions or asked new questions, and they shifted your thinking and they healed things or healed places where you were stuck. Because I know I can. Now, one of the things that I wrote in the description for this series is this idea that we're in a historic moment in time. It's not just about the presidential election. We're in an unprecedented moment of time. It's not just about the pandemic. We're in a pivotal moment of time. And I believe that part of our success as humanity to move through, when I talk about this period of time, I'm really talking about this decade, it depends greatly, again, I believe, on the questions that we're asking. And so one of the things that's been sitting with me a lot, I was talking to PY about this over the summer. I was like, I want to do something around visioning. In 90 Days to Greatness, best year ever at the end of the year, I always focus on visioning, and visioning is a part of that. And we've done, a sermon series on visioning, which, by the way, I encourage you to check out related to this message. December 2016 sermon series. It's on our YouTube channel. The title of the series is Vision. And this will dig deeper into visioning, but we're going to talk a little bit about it today. But I wanted to, as I was talking to PY, I was thinking about visioning a lot because I recognize that there's some questions that we need to be asking ourselves and asking love within us, God within us, that are going to support us in actually being able to tackle and be victorious when it comes to these momentous things like climate change, for instance. And so I think this particular sermon supports us in understanding part of why visioning is necessary and why visioning is effective in the context of asking a question. Because this series is what is mine to do. This series is based on a very simple question. And asking a question like this is powerful because it taps into something we are not always immediately aware of. You see, the secret power of a question is that it opens us up to infinite possibility. The secret power of a question is that it is the key that unlocks the door to God ideas. The secret power of a question is that it plugs you in to an infinite power source. You're no longer doing it alone. And so as we are willing to ask this question, what we may not fully realize, we may see the problem that's happening. We may see the things that are taking place in the world. And so we ask the question, God, source, love, what is mine to do? But by asking that question, you're opening up, you're tapping into a secret power. You're tapping into and opening yourselves up to infinite possibility. You're tapping into and opening yourself up to God ideas. You're tapping into and plugging yourself in to an infinite power source. Because when we don't ask that question, then we're only going to operate in our limited understanding. We're only going to operate in our human understanding. We're only going to operate in what we've seen done before. Right? And that's part of the problem of what's happening with humanity. Life is moving in a very specific way. Life is unfolding in a very specific way. We are moving into a new age, not just a new era, not just a new way of being, but a new age. And that's going to require us to be different. That's going to require us to act different. That's going to require us to think different. That's going to require us to work with each other differently. And so that is why we must ask these questions that then tap us into the realm of infinite possibility. Because if we only go by what we've seen, if we look at, what did they do in 1920? That's not going to get us through this thing. And so the question, what is mine to do, is closely related to visioning. Visioning, which is a powerful spiritual tool and principle, technology that comes to us through Reverend Michael Beckwith. And he explains to us in visioning that when we move to this realm of understanding and this stage of unfolding and development, we understand that we are not here to tell God what to do or what we want. But we are absolutely here, as he says, to be a channel or expression of what God, love, source, the universe is already doing. there's a fundamental principle and a fundamental understanding. I say all the time, life is a cosmos, not a chaos. Many times on the ground, life appears very chaotic, right? If we look at what's happening, if you were in D.C. yesterday and saw the MAGA rally, right? Chaos. But if you zoomed out from planet Earth, you would see just this unified whole, this beautiful blue marble hanging in the sky, right? Hanging on a sunbeam, as Carl Sagan says. And so we recognize that that's always the truth of life, that there's a vantage point that life appears and can appear to be chaotic, but there's a vantage point when you zoom out of absolute unity and wholeness. And so when we understand that, then what we're also understanding is that there is a tendency of life, as the principle in the Kabbalion says, the principle says that the tendency of life is always towards the positive pole. That there's something that we would call good, or we would call positive, or we would call constructive, or we would call life-giving, or we would call life-supporting, that is always seeking to express itself. And we have the opportunity to align with that, right? We have the opportunity to align with that. So then when we are asking the question, what is mine to do? What we are asking is, love, how do you want to express through us? When we ask the question, what is mine to do? We are saying, I want to be used. Here am I. Use me, God. When we ask the question, what is mine to do? We are saying, I know there is an answer. I may not see it. I may not have seen it. I know there is technology that exists that will support us in healing our planet. I know that there are new ways of using energy that we may not know about right now. And I know that that exists in the mind of God. We are saying, I know there is a solution. We are saying, when we ask the question, what is mine to do? We are saying, I am connected to an infinite stream of knowledge, genius, and intelligence. It walks with me and it talks with me. When we ask that question, see, this is the secret power of a question. A question in and of itself doesn't seem all that powerful, but we may not realize what that question is doing and what we are really saying when we ask this question. And who are we asking? Why does this power have any question? It's because of who we're asking. See, we're asking, I'm using the word God, I use Mother, Father, God, put whatever word feels good for you. If love feels good because you got some God charge, we can heal that later. But right now, I want you to be able to have a little talk with love, have a little talk with good, have a little talk with source. Who are we asking? We're asking God, and God is life. God is wisdom, not wise. God is intelligence, not intelligent. God is love, not loving. God is power, all the power there is to be, do, or have anything, not powerful. You see, God is the ground of all being, that which is underneath and back of, behind all things. God is the formless behind the form. Infinite substance, creative substance. And so when we understand that, this is who and what we're asking, right? We understand, and when I talk about the ground of all being, right, we understand that the ground of the earth takes any seed and supports it and nurtures it and brings it into form, right? We understand it doesn't matter. The ground doesn't say, well, no, I'm not interested in supporting apple trees, or no, I'm not interested in supporting roses, right? That's not how it works. But it is the thing that supports, that can take the information that's in that seed and will support it and nurture it and make sure that that seed becomes all that it was designed and created to be. So it is the same with you and me. So it is the same with our ideas. So it is the same with our thoughts, which are a seed that is planted in the mind. And so when I say, who are we asking? When I began to think about, I've been told that I was like this as a child. I don't really remember it much, but you all know that there are a lot of kids that just ask a lot of questions, right? Mom, why is the sky blue? Mom, why does it rain? Dad, why this? Dad, why that? Right? And as parents, y'all know it can get a little annoying sometimes, right? Because you're trying to cook dinner, you taking care of the bills, you're doing something else that your mind, you're really not thinking about all of these things. And there are these big questions, these radical questions, like, why is the sky blue? Nobody really, has an answer for that. And, most parents do. But as I began to think about that, have you ever thought about why a child asks their parents this question? Lord have mercy. This is so powerful for me. Have you ever thought about why a child asks their parents these questions. Because to the child's mind and from the child's perspective and based on the amount of time that they spend on the earth, their parents are infinite wisdom and intelligence. Their parents are their most trusted resource. And so when we ask the question, what is mine to do? I want you to understand and I want you to learn to move into that same posture that a child is in when it says, Mom, why is the sky blue? You are going to your most trusted resource. You are going to that thing which you believe in your heart of hearts would never steer you wrong. That thing that is demonstrated to you that when you fall down and scrape your knee, it's the thing that shows up and brings you a Band-Aid and helps you get better. It's that thing that when you're crying, it holds you and nurtures you and supports you. And so it's that same energy that when we ask the question, what is mine to do? It's the same energy of a child that asks their parent, why is the sky blue? And why does it rain? And all of these deep questions that you might not have been good in science and sure enough might not remember what you learned in high school. And so when I say, who are we asking? We are asking our most trusted resource. We are asking that thing which will never leave us or forsake us, even into the new age. We are asking that thing which has always and will always have our back. We are asking that thing which cannot judge us. We are asking that thing which does not forgive us because it does not judge us. We are asking that thing that is constantly looking us only through and as love. You are my daughter. You are my son. You are my child in whom I am well pleased. We're asking our most trusted resource. And so visioning then can expand this even further. With visioning, we set the container and we have a conversation with love and we create this beautiful field of love and this vibration. And then we ask the question, what is God's idea of itself as my life? It's another way of asking what is mine to do. We ask the question, what is seeking to emerge from the mind of God as my life? No longer saying, God, I want to be this, I want to do this, I want to have this, but I recognize that my most trusted resource has a vantage point that I can't even fully fathom, but I trust it. And so I'm going to ask of it. Because see, when you ask it questions like that, you end up creating something that's bigger, wider, deeper, more expansive than you could have even imagined. You had one little cute little idea. But when you ask what is seeking to emerge from the mind of God as my life, your most trusted resource will guide you into something powerful. And when we're asking what is mine to do, one of those other questions in visioning, which I love, is this question, what must I become in order for the vision to emerge? Because as you start to get a sense of what is mine to do, and you may already be operating in your gift and your calling, in order to expand that operation, what must I let go of? And what must I become in order for this vision to emerge? See, because the thing is, when we ask that question, what must I become? Becoming is really just a process of letting go. Because you can't become something new. You're not becoming something you aren't already. What you're doing is removing everything that was blocking it. We were watching Ayanna last night with Lunel, and she was doing, I love Ayanna Van Zant because of the way she uses her tools, right? And, physical props and things. It's brilliant. It's one of the things she does so very well. And so she had Lunel with all these different masks, the comedian Lunel. And then, as she started to heal, she got to drop the different masks. And so in truth, that's what we're doing in our process of becoming. Because you couldn't become something you're not. And so we think that's what's happening. We think, oh, I wasn't this thing, and now I am this thing. No, you were always that thing. You just removed the blocks. You were always that thing, but you just revealed it. It's the beautiful thing that I love about I love about thinking about our gifts, skills, talents, and abilities, and my life continues to prove this to me. Now, I believe that all of us are multi-hyphenate individuals, right? I think that's just the nature of life because it's the nature of God. There's no way that we couldn't be multi-hyphenate if we are one with this infinite multi-hyphenate, right? And so when I think and I can look over the past decade and I can think about the different skills and talents and abilities that I use now that I maybe wasn't using in the previous decade, it was always there. But it was latent. It wasn't activated, right? It was always there. And just in the same way, when we think about every bit of technology, all the technology that we're using right now to connect and communicate and love on each other and be connected, it existed 1,000 years ago. Everything that was needed. It's not like there's new glass or new elements or new minerals that were created in this century that then, now that we have, all of this metal and the various minerals and elements that are used, now that we have these things, now we can have computers. Now that we have these things, now we can have microphones. Now that we have these things, now we can have cameras. Everything existed thousands of years ago. In truth, it would have been possible for Jesus to live stream had people been open to those possibilities, right? So it's latent. It just hadn't been made use of yet. Not that it didn't exist, right? And I hope this is helping somebody, and kind of light bulbs are going off. So the process of becoming, when we ask ourselves, what is mine to do? Then what we are really saying is, what must I let go of? What's blocking my experience of more of me? What ways am I thinking that's blocking an experience of more of me? Because I recognize there's a call on the earth. There's a call for love. There's some stuff that needs to happen. There's some things that need to be healed. There's some ways we need to organize. There's some ways we need to mobilize. There's some ways we need to strategize. What is mine to do in that process? And in order to be effective, I got to remove every block. I got to remove those thoughts. What are those habits? What are those patterns? And then we begin to choose to pattern ourselves after the mind of God. There's another question that's there in what is mine to do? Envisioning what gifts, skills, talents do I already possess? What I love to say when I'm doing visioning, if we recognize that we're having a conversation with love, one of the most unloving things would be for love to give you a vision that you don't have any ability in or any ability to do in any way. Now, it might seem huge, it might seem beyond you, but in truth, if you're talking to love, love would never, for instance, you don't have legs, and so then the vision comes, run up and down the stairs, right? Now, of course, there are ways that you could still run up and down the stairs with prosthetics. But you recognize that would be unloving, right? That would be unloving for that, right? Or even better yet, a newborn child, right? A newborn baby can't walk yet, can't run. And there would be no expectation for that child to run. So whatever comes forward, that means that you already possess some gifts, some skills, some talents, some ability that supports you in taking the first step. And so when you ask the question, what is mine to do? You're really or also asking, what do I already possess to take the first step towards this vision? Because the vision may be huge. Towards this vision. The vision may be opposite of what you were planning, sort of like PY and myself, when we asked this question and Source said, Celebration Spiritual Center. Right? This wasn't the focus of what we were seeking to do in our lives. We were seeking to be a beneficial presence on the earth, and everything that we were planning to do would have been helpful, but it wasn't what God had planned. It wasn't what Source was seeking to express in, through, and as us, which was 10 million times more potent and powerful than the little stuff we thought we were going to be doing. And I'd say it was little stuff comparatively. And so when we ask the question, what is mine to do? These visioning questions start to open us up. They start to open us up to think more and make ourselves available, tapping into the secret power of a question. Next month, and we usually do this every year, we do a visioning in connection with the winter solstice. I think the solstice happens on a Monday, so maybe it'll be a Sunday evening that we do the visioning to tap into that vibration. Because what visioning is doing, it mirrors the season that we're in, right? The season that we're in, I always make the statement, if we follow the path of the sun, in order to spiritually ascend, we must first spiritually descend. And this is the path that the sun is taking for us in our experience of the Northern Hemisphere. And the sun goes down into the darkness, and then that's where the winter solstice is. But what it represents, the sun is representing, it's like a seed going into the ground. The seed goes into the darkness. But if there's a conversation, if you will, if we were to anthropomorphize it, right? The seed must trust this ground and this earth that it's in. Why? Because the seed has to break open. It has to become what it hasn't experienced itself to be. But again, what did I say? It's not revealing something new. It's just becoming what it always is, always was, right? And because that looks so different from its current formation as the seed, but nothing has changed. In truth, nothing is added to the seed to make it that fruit tree, to make it that those rose bushes. Nothing is added to the seed. But what happens is the seed goes to the earth and it must break open. It must let go of that shell so that it can become everything it was designed to be. And so I love operating in that energy of the solstice because we're already in that energy physically. We're already in that energy where the sun is going to stand still and we're going to experience those 3 days of darkness. And so we get to use the energy of those questions. We will definitely post and share more information about that for next month. And so I believe that these are the questions that we must begin to ask ourselves as we prepare for 2021 and as we prepare for the 2020s, because this is a pivotal decade. Human history will look back on this decade and they will see what we did. What they will be either reaping the benefits or the failures in the subsequent decades and subsequent generations. But here's what's important. Why do we have to ask this question? God ain't coming down to save us. There's no being, there's no man or woman that's going to come down to save us. Why? Because God put us here. You are the Christ. The Christ lives within you. Right? Christ is not a person. Christ is a consciousness. Christ is an awareness. Christ is a way of thinking and being, a way of knowing, a way of operating on the earth. God put you here. And so if God put us here, we must understand that we are the hands of God. We are the feet of God. If God is going to do anything, it's going to do it through us. That's the teaching. That's New Thought 101. God can only do for us what God can do through us. Ernest Holmes, Science of Mind. So we look not for God to save us, but we make ourselves available for God to act in us. That's the underlying idea of that principle. Again, I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. I'm thinking about Christmas. It's so hard not to get in the Christmas vibe. All these movies are out. But that idea, when we read Isaiah, that's used in that Christological way, that Emmanuel, God with us, and that's been taught as it was about one man or one person, but it's this underlying idea. God is always with us because God is always in us, through us, and as us. So if anything is going to change, it will be the transforming, transmuting power of God in, through, and as us. If anything is going to change. And so we must understand the secret power of a question. I was reminded of the Tao Te Ching in verse 62. It opens with this line, Tao, which is God, life, the all that is, and this thing that we've been talking about, is the treasure house, the true nature, the secret source of everything. It is the great wealth of those who are awake and the great protector of those still sleeping. Now, first of all, that's beautiful, right? That's so beautiful to remember and understand that whether we're awake or whether we're sleeping in consciousness, right? Whether we're awake and understand what's going on and making use of it, it's great wealth. But even if we don't fully understand and we're not making use of it, it protects us. And so when we talk about the secret power of a question and we ask this question, what is mine to do? What we're doing is we're tapping into the treasure house. We're tapping into the secret source of everything. And I love the way this verse closes. Within. That's where the world's treasure has always been. When we ask the question, what is mine to do? It's like the passcode to the treasure house. It's like the passcode to the secret source of everything. And where is it? Within. And I use that word passcode even lightly. Earlier I said the secret power of a question it's like the key that unlocks a door, right? To infinite supply and infinite possibility. I use these words to help us see it. But what's so interesting to me and what I was seeing as I was writing this down was, have you ever seen, I wish I could think of a specific movie, but it's a motif that we see often, that the hero in a story or the shero in a story has to go through a series of adventures or just a series of conversations, sometimes solving a riddle to maybe get a key, right? They go through all these things because you need the key to open the door that then allows you to get to some other place or some other thing. And so often, one of the things that happens in the story is that once they get the key and they get to the door, they put the key in and it's like, it was already unlocked, right? You've seen that in movies before. And that's kind of what this is like. So even as I say that this question is like a passcode or this question is like a key, in truth, what happens is it's your recognition that you are connected to this most trusted source, just like a child that asked that question. It's your recognition that then when you get to the door, you don't even have to put the key in. It just opens automatically, or you just touch it. It's like it was already unlocked. And so we, as spiritual people, as people of faith, as metaphysicians, who are choosing to live in this consciousness and understand that we are connected to infinite power and possibility. Understand that we do not have to do it alone, because in truth, we are never alone. Understand that infinite knowledge and genius and wisdom walks with us and talks with us. We ask the question, what is mine to do? We ask the question, what is seeking to emerge from the mind of God as my life? And when we ask that question, I'm hearing Reverend Michael, we lean in as if we are about to be told the world's greatest secret. In this moment, I just invite everyone to take a deep breath in and we release. We breathe in and we breathe out. There is a treasure house. There is a secret source of everything. There is an infinite love, there is an infinite peace, there is infinite freedom, joy beyond compare and beyond measure, and it is all here now. It is with us and it is within us. It neither comes nor goes, it is closer than our hand and closer than our breath. I am grateful and thankful to acknowledge and recognize that it is, and to acknowledge and recognize that it is with us. It walks with us and it talks with us. It tells us that we are its own. And it is out of this recognition that I remember that I am one with it and one of it. I remember that all of my sisters and brothers, my human family, everyone that's connected in any way that hears this message, you are one with it and one of it. One with infinite power. One with infinite wisdom. One with the formless behind every form. One with that has its mind on every planet and you at the same time. One that has its mind on you and every cricket at the same time. One that has its mind on every cricket and every blade of grass. One that has its mind on every blade of grass and every cell within that blade of grass. And every atom and every electron and every neutron. We are one, we are one, we are one with the one. And so it is out of this awareness that we lean in and ask the question, what is mine to do? We lean in and we ask the question, what is seeking to emerge from the mind of God as my life? What is God seeking to express in, through, and as me? And we pray the prayer, make me an instrument of your peace. Make me an instrument of your good. Make me an instrument of your love. Make me an instrument of your transforming power. Make me an instrument of your transmuting power. Make me an instrument of your kindness. Make me an instrument of your joy. And just like an instrument is neutral and can play with such beauty and create such beauty, so we allow beauty to be created through us. So we allow love to be expressed through us. So we allow freedom and justice to be expressed in, through, and as us. What is mine to do, love? And we allow the great revealer to reveal us. We allow ourselves to become more of who we truly are. We forgive ourselves and set ourselves free for those thoughts and patterns of belief that we held that blocked the fuller expression of who we are. We let them go right here and right now. And we choose to align ourselves with the flow of life. We choose to align ourselves with that thing that only calls us worthy. We choose to align ourselves with that thing that expresses abundance in every area of life so easily and effortlessly. Let that abundance flow through me. Hey. Let that joy flow through me. Let that peace flow through me. Let there be peace on earth. And it begins with me. It begins with my question. There is a secret power in the question, and we understand that. And so we ask it boldly because we trust who we're asking. So with joy and thanksgiving, I release this prayer knowing that life is good and keeps getting better all the time. Knowing that we are supported and that we are safe. And knowing that this prayer has been heard, met, received, and is already being acted upon in every realm of the universe simultaneously. So we simply say, Amen, Ashe, and so it is. So it is. Thank you, God.
Amen, Ashe, and so it is. These are powerful questions that we must ask and know that we will receive an answer. These are love-based questions. I always say it. What kind of questions are you asking? Are you asking love-based questions? What is mine to do? What is seeking to emerge? Or are you saying, oh, Lord, why is this happening to me? Right. Those kinds of questions, why is this happening to me, are the fear-based questions. We always operate from the realm of love.
Yes, yes.
What is seeking to emerge? Because we know that this divine power has a plan in store in its creation. What is seeking to emerge? What is mine to do? I am here on purpose with a purpose.
Yes, yes.
So I point myself in the direction of the answer, knowing that I'm on purpose with a purpose.
Yes, yes, yes.
I ask these kinds of questions. And if I see and feel and know within myself that these are fear-based questions, something that is causing me to shrink, to run in the opposite direction of the very thing that is drawing me to it. I change my focus. Well, I change. I put my focus on love-based questions. What is mine to do?
Yes, yes.
Because if I see that there is a problem, I'm the solution.
Absolutely, absolutely.
The solution is flowing through me.
Yeah, yeah.
Now, y'all know we love a love-based question. So keep on asking those.
Yes.
What is mine to do?
Yes.
What is mine to do? What is mine to be? What is seeking to emerge?
Yeah.
How is love going to have its way with me in this situation?
Yes, yes, yes.
All love-based questions.
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you, PG.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, beautiful people, it is time for giving. And you all know the drill, but for our first-time guests, we want you to know that we're very specific about how we teach and talk about giving here at CSC. And it's very simple. It's what you see here on your screen. Give what feels good. Why do we say that? Because we recognize the principle. There's a principle. Some people call it sowing and reaping. We call it the law of circulation. You could call it the principle or the law of breathing, right? You breathe in, you breathe out. You breathe in, you breathe out. That's giving and receiving. But what's interesting is when you breathe in, are you ever worried? Like when you consider the billions of people that are on here and all of the animals that you, like all these beings that use and need oxygen, have you ever stopped and worried like, oh no, is there enough? No. And when you exhale, are you worried like, oh no, I'm exhaling. Well, will they let me get some more air? I don't know. Maybe I took too much last time. Was I good enough to get enough air? Well, you know, some people, because of how they look, they get more air than other people. But this is what we do with money. And the principle, though, is the same. So we say give what feels good because we want you to give without worry. We want you to give without doubt. We want you to give without fear, without guilt, without shame, because that is how you experience the blessing of giving. See, life responds to us always. And so just like if you planted a poisonous plant in the ground is not going to say, hey, Pastor Greg, I don't think you really want to do this because this is actually poisonous. It supports that plant. If I plant it and it's poisonous, it supports it, and that plant will grow and thrive because I planted it, right? So when we give out of fear, doubt, worry, shame, guilt, all of those things that many of us have been taught to give in that way, unfortunately, our garden, right, unfortunately, is going to grow the fruit of those things. And we love you. We don't want that for you.
Absolutely.
So we make it really simple. Give what feels good. Right? Find your joy number, and that's what you give. And that's how you thrive. That is the secret to giving. Right? Right? And so when we give from that place, well, first, I'm sorry, you see the info on your screen. You can go to our website, celbrationsc.org/give, or you can text to give at 347-744-9500. It's a $10 minimum to give. But once we give from this place of what we're talking about here today, then we can affirm this powerful affirmation. All the money that I use returns to me multiplied. In a never-ending cycle. Of increase. And enjoyment. Right? So we take a joyous offering, and we are so grateful and thankful for all the ways that you continue to support CSC. CSC continues to thrive, and of course, it is through your giving that we're able to continue to bring this live stream to you and to continue to add a little seasoning week by week, month by month.
Little CSC seasoning, salt, little Lowry's, you know.
And we're so grateful for this platform that we're using and that we're continuing to expand. I was sharing with PY. I'm excited about some
new stuff's coming, y'all.
Some new things that we'll be adding, as we continue to go along, because we're gonna be in this format for some time.
For a minute,
right?
yes.
For some time. So I just want to remind everyone again. Today is God Talk Sunday, so and I can put it back on the screen. It's God Talk Sunday, so that's at 1:00. It happens via Zoom, right? So if you're already on our mailing list, check your email. Friday's email, the Zoom link and password, it's in there. If you are a first-time guest, you would like to be a part of the God Talk, you have some questions, or you just want to be in the vibration with us all, then you need to join the mailing list. Text welcome to this phone number, just welcome, no signatures, no emojis. Fill out the digital connection card when you get the link, and then you will be emailed the God Talk information. Also, at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific time, I will be sharing a message with our Upchurch LA family, again, founded by Della Reese and Reverend Dr. Della Reese, Let. And I'm excited about that. We're talking about God as wisdom. My sermon topic is Welcome to the CIA. I think that'll be a powerful sharing and vibration. So by all means, feel free to join us. It's on YouTube, and you can just search for Upchurch LA, and you'll find their YouTube page, channel. All right.
So we'll see you at 1:00.
Yes.
For God Talk.
See you at 1:00.
And if you can't join us,
if you can't join us, then we'll see you next week at 11 a.m., which will be our final service for November before we move into the Thanksgiving holiday. We love y'all.
Love you so much.
Enjoy your Sunday. Enjoy the rest of your day, okay? Bye for now.
Bye for now.